last time I was on a stage like this, I was giving an apology. It was January 24th, and me and a team of high schoolers were organizing the first TEDx youth event in upstate South Carolina, TEDx Five Forks Youth. We had been planning for 6 to 7 months with 15 change makers, 8 youth speakers, hundreds of emails, hundreds of Zoom meetings, all of it leading up to this moment. I remember waiting backstage excitedly, thinking to myself that all of these efforts that we'd been putting in would finally be recognized, and it would all finally be worth it. That is not at all how that day went. The very first thing that happened went completely wrong. Our opening video refused to work. It completely glitched out, and nobody really knew how to take care of it. On top of that, every single microphone in the venue decided to just stop working, suddenly. Amazing. And so right after that, I had to go up to this audience of 100, an audience just like this, projecting, basically yelling at them because I didn't have a working microphone, apologizing that we couldn't do better. And then after that, I had to go backstage and speak to my team while I was completely ashamed. And in that moment, I knew, oh yeah, I'm going to be writing a TED Talk on this. Hi guys, my name is Amanda DeLeon, and I am a high school senior who has immersed myself in the youth stories and the youth leadership of our great city of Greenville. And as the founder of TEDx Five Forks Youth and a leader of other initiatives in our community, I've gotten to learn a thing or two about chaos. And especially in my roles, I've gotten to learn about the stories of our youth community and our high schoolers. The ones they share with me, the ones I help amplify, and the ones that I get to see in my everyday moments. From all of those stories, I have gotten to learn that high schoolers are learning to navigate a system that no one has ever taught them to map. And that's why I'm here. I've recently turned 18 years old, and I'm going to be graduating soon. I want to capture that world, the one that I'm going to be leaving soon, and I want to give you a glimpse into it, the misunderstood ecosystem of Greenville's youth and our leadership. And with that, I hope that today I can tell you what it really takes to survive high school and what those stories reveal about the futures of our community. High school is very often referred to as the best 4 years of your life. The way I've experienced it and that I've seen others experience it, I would call it the best 4 years of your life that you're never going to want to live again. Thank you, thank you. And for that reason, I say it because, yeah, for sure, we have prom and fun memories like football games and dances and dates. But inside of that, high schoolers, and especially this generation, are constantly stressed out. High school is draining. I swear, the #1 thing I hear the most often said from all of my classmates is either, oh my God, I'm so tired, or oh my gosh, I really wish I could go home. And you know what? Me too. I say all of those things too. But really what that shows is that stress and burnout in high school has gotten so normalized. And maybe it has something to do with the way that high school is today. Maybe it's because teenagers are growing up in a world that is constantly loud all the time. The rise of AI, new trends on social media every single day, new beauty expectations, the changing college landscape, all of this. And then within it, we have to find ourselves. That's what we're told. No wonder it is so easy to lose yourself in this period. No wonder the culture of adolescence itself has changed. Even me. Even in writing this talk, I second-guessed everything I was trying to say. I was scared that no matter how passionate or how accurate my message was, I would be standing up here and having you all look at me, thinking that I'm just another basic teenager, thinking that my message might be too simple, too boring. I was so scared, in fact, I didn't even write this speech until last week. And that was a lie. I actually didn't finish writing this speech until last night and memorized it this morning, so I would call that the high school way. But yeah. But either way, what I would say about that mindset and that doubt is really that it's an indication of the secret systems that we have dictating not only this high school experience, but the human experience. I like to call them currencies. If you're a high schooler, common currencies are usually grades, extracurriculars, popularity, beauty standards, things like that. What it is really is it's the unspoken economy that every single one of us plays into. And within that unspoken economy, it's so easy to look at yourself and say that you're not enough. Let's say, for example, you're an ambitious student and you're hoping to get into your top choice college. Without knowing what colleges are looking for or what the standard for what impressive really looks like, you're going to be looking to the people around you to see how you should be looking at yourself. And that's when you start to look at your peers, see how they succeeded, how they failed, how you can change. Because really, if you're not the best at your high school, what college is going to choose you? If you're not the prettiest in your friend group, what person is going to date you? And all of it, it looks like ambition. To be chasing these ideals of success, but really what it is it's debt. When you get attached to this expectation of what value looks like, you start to think you're not good enough. And that's when high school becomes something to survive and not something to live. That's when currency becomes identity. But I swear that within all of these currencies and chaos, there is still hope. In TEDx Five Forks Youth, co-organizers talk all the time about how there are so many stresses in high school, so many stresses in work and college. But despite all those stresses, they show up to our meetings every single day. They show up for the community that we're dedicated to, for the vision that we're trying to create. On top of that, they're creating new things. I know so many teenagers who have started nonprofits, who are volunteering on the weekends. And it's because they all see that there's something tangible that they can chase after for their future, that there's a better future, one where the world is better, one where they can look in the mirror and see themselves as somebody that they can accept. That ambition and that striving, that's exactly what I admire most. And it's good to know, whether you're in high school or just on a self-growth journey, that everyone is experiencing their own chaos, yet everyone is united by their desire to find themselves within it. So, the question is now, with all of these currencies and all of this chaos, how do you find yourself in high school? The truth is, any journey, especially high school, it's going to remain confusing and exhausting if you don't realize that this journey was never about currencies in the first place. It was about shaping those 4 years into what you need them to be. That means, from my opinion, becoming a professional storyteller. That's my advice to you. Let's try to imagine yourself graduating. Or if you're not a high schooler, imagine yourself 10 years from now, probably just looking back on your life. What sticks with you? Was it the countless all-nighters that you pulled to be studying for those tests, never making friends? Was it the regrets on the other hand? The regrets that you know you could have done better, that there were opportunities that you didn't chase? Either way, if your answer to what is going to stick with you is something negative, then you should be taking control over your narrative instead. So that's what I mean by becoming your own professional storyteller, writing your own chapters. Think about the past that has led you to become the character that you are today. Think about and decide what you want this moment, this present 4 years to play, what role they should play in the overall journey that you're trying to live. Think about what lessons you want to take away, what lessons you want to leave behind. In trying to figure out what high schoolers think about reshaping their journey, I interviewed a few of my classmates, and one of my classmates shared with me her story. She told me how in 9th grade, her currency was grades. She would work every single day tirelessly to try and get those A's, and that also meant for her that she had to deny the opportunities that she wished she could have had, and deny the memories that she wishes she could have made. So, in her senior to junior year, she finally looked back at her story and finally realized that when she leaves, she wants to remember much more than all of those all-nighters. So what she did was she used her vision to propel her to pick those experiences. She got involved in things like theater and dance, tutoring kids and internships, and now she says she's proud that she can look back at her story and know it's something that she's proud that she has written. That is the power of storytelling. And that is what I invite all of you to do as well. Because when you trade your currencies for personal goals, you become a leader and a change maker in your own right. And whether you're a high schooler or not a high schooler, it's so important to know that the reward of self-authorship is that you can find the meaning in any experience, and you can use that meaning to propel you to keep writing. I have been talking a lot about authenticity and stories and messaging. I would feel it inauthentic to my story if I didn't tell you the message I've been trying to promote for the past 4 years. My most favorite thing about the high school journey is the potential that youth grow within it, and how that potential, the story that they build within themselves, ignoring the chaos outside of them, can really consequently change the communities that surround them. My conviction is this: the youth community in Greenville, they are not future leaders. They already are leaders. That's why, as a high schooler standing in front of you today, I know, yes, I might be the only high schooler you're going to see on this stage, but that doesn't mean that I'm the only one. In fact, understand that I am one of many change makers. There is so much ambition and initiative and drive that I have seen within this community. We are starting nonprofits, we are building businesses, we are addressing civic issues that so many people choose to ignore, and yet it is so difficult to get the resources we need to expand those visions. It is so difficult to gain the recognition and the support from adult leaders in Greenville. I think that as much as Greenville tries to pride itself on innovation and new opportunities, we cannot continue to grow if we ignore the most obvious source of that innovation: the youth community that are already transforming our city with their ideas. So I'm not asking for just mere acknowledgement. I'm asking you to give us the trust that comes with that responsibility. Let me take you back to the day of TEDx Five Forks Youth. After I had given my apology to the audience, we sent up our first youth speaker without a microphone. I was running around between the sound booth and the co-organizers trying to figure out what was going on with our technical difficulties. But in the midst of all of that chaos, I looked up. I looked up and saw our youth speaker. His voice, clear and captivating, resounding, tear-jerking stories with hilarious jokes. And I saw our audience leaning forward in their seats, clinging on to every word. In that moment, our youth speakers, their compelling stories and innovative ideas were being heard by our community for the first time. And because of a simple idea I had, I was able to be a part of that exchange. Because I saw the meaning in that moment, I come away from TEDx Five Forks Youth not with the mindset of all of the hardships that occurred, but rather by knowing that we had so much impact. We were able to tell the stories of those whose stories had not been told before. We were able to help those students write their stories and continue doing what excited them most. And most of all, that opportunity has brought me to this stage, to you, to extend that message. And that is truly the heart of this message. When you give youth the platforms that were previously only occupied by adults, they will thrive. And the entire message I want to give to you in a few sentences is this: that when a high schooler begins to reframe their experiences, they can write their own narratives. And when those narratives are heard, the communities that choose to hear them are forever changed. That's my hope, that for Greenville, that someday, no, not even someday, that today, we begin to expand those spaces that were previously only occupied by adults for our youth. Because we all play a part in writing the narratives in the future we all share. Thank you.